Welcome to Story Weaver. The bustling city was alive with the sounds of honking cars and the chatter of people rushing to and fro. In the midst of all this chaos, three friends, Anna, Ben, and Charlie, found themselves walking down the crowded streets together. They had known each other since childhood, and although they now lived in different parts of the city, they still made time to get together every few months. As they walked, Ben pointed out a new street vendor selling unique jewelry. "Hey guys, check this out," he said, grabbing their arms and pulling them over to the vendor. "I bet we could find something really cool for our significant others here." Anna was skeptical. "I don't know, Ben. Those pieces look a little too funky for my taste." But Charlie was already sorting through the jewelry, a grin on his face. "This is exactly what I've been looking for," he said, holding up a silver bracelet with small bells attached. "Do you hear that? It's perfect for Sarah. She's been talking about wanting a statement piece." Ben nodded in agreement. "That is a great idea, Charlie. And look at this necklace, Anna," he said, holding up a long chain with a large, intricate pendant. "It would look stunning on Julie." Anna rolled her eyes, but she couldn't help but admire the necklace. "All right, fine. I'll take it. But only because it's for Julie." As the three friends made their purchases, the vendor, a kind old man with a twinkle in his eye, struck up a conversation with them. "You three seem like such good friends," he said. "Where are you all headed today?" "Just grabbing lunch and catching up," Charlie replied. The vendor smiled. "Well, enjoy your time together. Friends like you are hard to come by these days." The three friends said their goodbyes and continued on their way, the sounds of the city fading into the background as they chattered and laughed with one another. It was moments like these that they cherished most, surrounded by the bustle of the city, yet in their own little world. As they walked to the restaurant, they suddenly heard a commotion coming from a nearby alley. Curiosity getting the better of them, they cautiously approached to find a group of men surrounding a small, scared-looking woman. Anna stepped forward. "Excuse me, is everything okay here?" she asked. One of the men sneered at her. "Mind your own business, lady," he said, waving her off. But Ben was not about to let this situation go. He stood tall, his muscular frame making him an imposing figure. "I don't think so," he said, his voice low and steady. "We're not leaving until we know this woman is safe." The men hesitated, looking at one another uncertainly. Finally, one of them stepped forward. Okay, he said, holding up his hands in surrender. "We'll leave her alone." "But you didn't see anything, got it?" As the men slunk away, the woman hugged herself, still looking frightened. Anna put a comforting arm around her. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Do you need anything?" The woman looked up, her eyes filled with tears. I lost my purse," she stammered. "All of my money, my phone, everything. I don't know what to do." Charlie was quick to act. "Don't worry, we've got this," he said, pulling out his own phone. "We'll call the police and report the theft. And in the meantime, you can come have lunch with us. We'll make sure you're taken care of." As they settled into a booth at the restaurant, the woman, whose name was revealed to be Emily, told them her story. She was new to the city, trying to make a fresh start after a difficult breakup. The theft of her purse had left her feeling helpless and alone. But Anna, Ben, and Charlie were determined to show her the kindness and generosity that they themselves had experienced in the city. They took her shopping to replace her lost belongings, and even invited her to join them for the rest of the day. As the sun began to set on the city, the four friends parted ways, promising to stay in touch. Emily was grateful for their help, but what she didn't know was that they had also taught them a valuable lesson about the power of kindness and friendship. They had shown her that even in the midst of the chaos of the city, there was still good to be found. A few months passed, and the four friends stayed in touch, regularly meeting up for coffee or dinner. Emily had found a job and was settling into her new life in the city, and it seemed that everything was going well for all of them. But one fateful day, tragedy struck. Anna, Ben, and Charlie received a call in the middle of the night, informing them that Emily had been in a terrible car accident and was in critical condition at the hospital. The three friends rushed to the hospital, their hearts heavy with worry. When they arrived, they were led to a small, sterile room, where Emily lay hooked up to a breathing machine, her body bruised and broken. The hours passed by in a blur as they kept a vigil at her bedside, praying for a miracle. But the miracle never came. In the early hours of the morning, Emily took her last breath, and she was gone. Anna, Ben, and Charlie were devastated. They had lost not just a friend, but a member of their little family, someone who had come into their lives when they needed her most. They held each other, tears streaming down their faces, as they said goodbye to the woman who had touched their lives in ways they could never have imagined. As the days and weeks passed, the three friends struggled to come to terms with their loss. They visited Emily's parents, who had flown in from out of town, and did what they could to support them in their grief. They attended her funeral, tears streaming down their faces as they said a final goodbye to the woman who had changed their lives forever. But in the midst of their sadness, they also found comfort in the memories they had shared with Emily. They laughed and cried as they reminisced about the times they had spent together, the adventures they had gone on, and the kindness and generosity that she had shown them all. And as they looked out at the bustling city, they realized that although Emily was no longer with them, her spirit lived on in the lives she had touched and in the bonds of friendship that they had formed. They knew that they would never forget her, and that her memory would always be a part of them, guiding them through the chaos of life in the city and reminding them of the power of love, kindness, and friendship.